I'm sorry I have not been consistent about posting another one. Being not consistent is the only thing that I am consistent about, if that makes sense. Alright, it is my favorite time of the year is fall, which means one thing. It is sweatshirt season. And sweatshirts are awesome because if you put on an extra couple pounds, they're great. They totally cover them up. So it's perfect time to make these bars, which are totally not good for you. Unfortunately, I probably can't eat them. I just got braces and it's really hard to eat with them on. And as a result, I've lost some weight, which is great. If I'd known that, I probably would have wired my mouth shut a long time ago if I'd known that's all it would take. Alright, I decided to make these bars because we just had Halloween, and Reese's are my favorite candy, and I was talking to somebody at work about it, Jessica. Hey Jessica! And I was just saying that I had a peanut butter fudge bar recipe that I realized I hadn't put on my blog yet. So I'm going to go ahead and share it with you today. This recipe is inspired from my cousin, actually. She was living in San Francisco a couple years ago, and I went and visited her, and she had these bars, and originally it's an Al Roker recipe, and it calls for cake mix, but I kind of changed it up, and I wanted to make it all from scratch. Another note about this recipe is it calls for peanut butter. I go ahead, most of the time I just use the natural unsweetened peanut butter because I like that better. And it makes the bars less sweet, because if it's too sweet, it's just like, you're like sweet freeze in your head. For this one, I'm doing the cheap peanut butter just because it's for a big bake sale at church, and I gotta make a lot of them. So that's up to you. You can swap them out. It's fine. They'll just be a little less sweet if you use the natural kind. Alright, so let's go ahead and get started. First of all, we're going to cream the butter, which is 4 sticks in this case. This recipe is doubled. The one I'll post on the blog is going to be just for a 9x13 cake pan. This is going to be for my bigger pan because I'm making so many for the bake sale. So I'm just going to go ahead and cream that. I'm going to try to talk over that. Alright, whip it into shiny glossiness. Alright, that's sufficient. We're going to add the brown sugar, which is, in your recipe, will be 1 cup. And it would help if I got it all into the bowl. And then also 1 cup of white sugar. I told you, these are not healthy. Then we're going to go ahead and cream those. Nice and combined. So make sure you scrape down the paddle. It's always a good idea to scrape, honestly. And I don't think I owned a spatula before I worked in the bakery. I just didn't think it was that important. Alright, that looks nice and fluffy. We're going to go ahead and add this like gigantic pile of peanut butter. This is doubled recipe. This one's doubled, so it's 3 cups. But in yours, it's 1.5 cups. There's a lot of peanut butter, but that's a good thing because we want the peanut butter flavor to actually stand out. It's not like a sideshow kind of thing. This is the main ingredient. We want the flavor to stand out. So let's get all that sticky nastiness in there. Alright. When I was younger, we used to go to my neighbor's house and we'd help him bake. And the mom, she always sang a song whenever so we would take turns to stir, and she'd sing a song. It was something like, stir and stir and stir and stir. Stir and stir and stir and stir. And now it's someone else's turn. I don't remember the words exactly, but it worked, and it kept us all from fighting over who got to stir the cookie dough. Alright, again, we're scraping. Getting all the gooey stuff off. Okay, then we're going to go ahead and add the eggs and the vanilla. What we're essentially doing here is just making a peanut butter cookie dough. We're going to layer half of it into the pan. Then we're going to fill it with the fudge, bake it for a little bit, and we're going to fill it with the fudge filling, and then top it with the rest of the cookie dough. So, almost done with this. Get the eggs all mixed in there. Go ahead and give it a stir again. Funny bits lying around. I also really recommend a long spatula. This will be helpful so you don't get your hand full of the batter. which can be really gross and annoying. So this, I think we got this one from Williams-Sonoma, but they sell them everywhere. And I like the ones with the wooden handles, but that's just my personal preference. Go ahead, take them out for test drive, see which one you like better. Alright, then we're going to add the flour and the baking soda. There's no salt in this one, just because the peanut butter I'm using is already salted. So I don't want it to be too salty. So if you use unsalted peanut butter, go ahead and add about half a teaspoon to a teaspoon of salt. Yeah, you're going to want that. And I like to always overfill the bowl because it's a lot more messy that way. So it's probably going to like splat and stuff. But okay, that's stirring up the flour. We're going to go ahead and line the pan. Again, I can't stress the importance of using parchment paper. It just makes cleanup so much easier and your bars turn out better and everything. I always go ahead and spray the pan first, just so the parchment can lay down a lot more flats. Now this isn't a 9x13, this is bigger. I'm not really sure the measurements, but usually if I double a 9x13 recipe, I put it in here. It's a little smaller than a double 13x9, but it's all good. Bars just come out a little fatter and you gotta make them a little more. Yeah. Okay. So, these look perfect. Go ahead, scrape it down. Go ahead, give a nice stir by the spatula, just make sure we've got it all combined nicely. Okay. Looks good to me. Alright. We're gonna go ahead and pour half of the batter into the pan. This is a lot of cookie dough. That's for sure. Alright. I think that looks good. You want to reserve half of it because we're going to be sprinkling that on top after. So let's go ahead and spread this out. I really like peanut butter cookie dough batter because it doesn't stick to stuff and it spreads nicely and it's just nice. It's my favorite cookie dough to work with. Just scooping wise and everything. It's nice. It's like a dream cookie dough. Go ahead, get it into all the nooks and crannies, the crevices. I'm just using the spatula. If you don't have a spatula, you can use a knife, a butter knife. Or if you bake a lot of cakes, you might have one of the offset spatulas. That's perfect too. Just want to kind of get a nice even layer going. No worries if it's not even. We're not competing in a pastry show. We're just making them to eat them. Alright, then we're going to go ahead and stick this in a 350-degree oven for about 10 minutes. And we're going to go ahead and pre-bake the bottom crust just because it'll kind of harden up a little, and then we put the fudge filling on top. It won't just soak in. It'll kind of stay in the middle, which is what we want it to do. And while that's baking, we're going to go ahead and make the fudge filling, which is just sweetened condensed milk, chocolate chips, butter, and vanilla. So while that's cooking, we're going to go ahead and put this on the stove top and just cook it down until it's all melted and smooth and combined. And be sure to stay with it because it can burn quickly if you're not paying attention. Okay, I went ahead and melted the fudge filling. It's going to look like this. Nice and shiny. Again, don't leave it unattended because it will burn very quickly. I've done it many times. And my dog agrees. Flops. Okay, we baked the bottom half of the crust for about 10 to 15 minutes until just slightly golden brown. You can kind of see it. It's hot. I probably shouldn't pick up the pan. Bad idea. And it's going to rise a lot. No worries. Once we pour the fudge filling on top, it's going to just sink on right down. So then we go ahead and take the fudge filling, give it a little stir, and then just kind of pour it in a nice even pattern around the lovely dough. Again, definitely going to need to scrape it since so much of the fudginess gets stuck on here. Gosh, this pan's heavy. Oh my gosh. This filling is so tasty. I could just eat it with a spoon, which would be very nice. Now that I think about it, I need to try this with other cookie doughs, not just the peanut butter. Maybe like a chocolate chip fudge-filled cookie bar. Oh my gosh, this sounds really good. Or a German chocolate one. Oh my gosh, that sounds even better. Yeah. Don't be afraid to play around with these recipes. I highly encourage it. My best recipes have come from the ones that I've played around with. My sister always makes fun of me because I am famous for not ever sticking to the recipe. I always tweak it in my own little way, and it annoys her because I don't follow recipes very well. Which is funny that I like to write them and assume that other people will follow my recipes. Alright, so just go ahead, spread out evenly. Looks pretty darn good to me. Get all that chocolatey-ness around. Alright, then we're going to go ahead and take the rest of that batter and just grab handfuls and just kind of break them off into little chunks like so. You're not going to completely cover up the chocolate. It's definitely going to be showing through, which is great. It's supposed to. And also, again, the batter on top will spread out just like the batter on the bottom did. So even though it doesn't look like it's covering very much of it, it really will be once it's all said and done. Another nice thing about these bars is they freeze well, so you can make them and freeze them, which is what we're going to be doing for this bake sale. That's going to be next weekend. And they also ship very well, which is awesome. I'm always loving to find something that I can send in care packages to people and will still be good like 4 or 5 days later when it gets there. Because there's no way I'm paying for overnight for cookies. It's just too expensive. Isn't this lovely? This is something your kids can help out with if you have them. They love getting their hands in the dough. But don't be surprised when they start licking their fingers. It's totally going to happen, and then sticking their fingers back in, but it's all good because it's going to get baked off in the really hot oven, so they can still be germ-free. Alright, so there you go. That is how you make peanut butter fudge bars. We're going to go ahead and set these back in the oven for about 25 to 30 minutes until they're kind of set and golden brown. Let them cool completely before you cut them. And, yep, there you go. Peanut butter fudge bars. I hope you enjoy them, and I hope you get outside and enjoy this awesome fall weather that we are having. Thank you very much. P.S. Eat your heart out.